Hi, I'm Ross Lazaroo-Hood, entrepreneur, philanthropist and family man. This is my podcast, In Conversation With. From the boardroom, back to the beginnings, to the present with my guests, talking about business, family and sport. Today we're in the capital city of Northern Ireland, my home, Belfast, to meet Michael Deane, the hospitality king who came from Claridge's in Dorchester all the way to set up the Deane's culinary genius. But there's a new vision ahead. I can't wait to hear Michael's story and hear about the vision going forward. Michael, so we're outside the mothership of Deane's, the most successful restaurant in Belfast. With your successes to date is absolutely amazing. Thank you for joining me on my podcast.
Pleasure.
I suppose the first question that I think everyone would be quite interested in is your childhood, the background you came from, and how has that had a personal growth for you, both personally and in business?
Well, firstly, I'm not one of those cooks who was taught to cook by their mother. And where people in France and other countries probably grew up with food. Yeah. I didn't grow up with food. I grew up with Frey Benta steak and kidney pies on a housing estate, and chicken curry in one of those dried packets. So food was not my game. I wanted to get out of school. I hated school. I hated the discipline of school, even though a lot of discipline is brought into my work now. But I hated school. So I said, how to get out of school? What's the easiest things I could do? One would be to cut hair, or one would be to cook. I decided the harder option was to cook.
Well, it's a lot of craft.
The troubles were quite difficult then, when we lived in Belfast. And my father had a big job with an electric television component company. And we moved down the coast to Donaghadee, Grimsport, down round that way. And I got a job in the Imperial Hotel in Donaghadee, which is no longer there. I think it's an old people's home or something, a rest home. And I got a job cooking in there when I was about 15. And then I thought this was cooking.
Right.
I thought opening those boxes of breaded place fillets, the orange things, I thought that was fish. Even though it was a fishing village. Opening a Black Forest Gatto, I thought that was bacon. Yeah. So I was in the pig's back. I thought this was absolutely wonderful. This was absolutely wonderful that I was cooking.
And
it wasn't until I started to read. Internet was nothing then, but there was a few magazines, Educator, chefs magazines, and I looked and I saw people like Lazaroo, people like Anton Mosselman, Pierre Kaufman, and I said, well, this is what I need to be doing. I need to get on a plane somewhere, and I need to start again, basically. And so that's where the journey began. I took off to London, and I didn't know where to go. I stayed in the Cardboard City in Waterloo for a few days, and then I got some work in Claridge's. I washed pots, I did anything, and I just kept going, worked in various hotels. Then eventually got a job in Claridge's, eventually got a job in the Dorchester.
Amazing.
Which was where I wanted to be. I got a job in the Dorchester through Anton Mosselman had left a hotel in Switzerland to be the first mattress chef at the Dorchester at 28. And I wanted in there, but it was a 4-year waiting list to get in there.
Both very young people, realistically, at your careers.
Yeah. So Mosselman was doing a lecture in the Shelbourne Hotel one day in Dublin. He went to the toilet and I went in after him. I says, man, I need a job. And 4 days later I got a job as third or fourth commie in the Dorchester. And that was it. That changed my life.
That was the spark.
Absolutely.
That was the start of the foundation of Deane's.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was the journey.
That was amazing. And I love the fact we've got that in common, that leaving Northern Ireland, going to start your career, your business within London, and then almost coming back home. You did a lot more than me, the fact you came back and been successful. But
I just wanted always to come home, though. It was always in my mind to try to help my city.
Yeah.
That was always my mind. Belfast boy, and I feel part of the bricks and mortar of Belfast. I really do.
The king of Belfast, I would say. But I'm looking forward to hearing a bit more about that too.
Okay.
Michael, obviously we're outside the gorgeous Belfast City Hall. It's a beacon for us and for the people, and where your mothership of Deane's is centred, and now where your business has created this hospitality champions and you've nurtured amazing talent. Can you give me some details of the background of coming back from the Dorchester, Claridge's to opening your first restaurant in Helens Bay to where we are today?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of luck involved in that. A lot of big borrowing or stealing involved in that. My first restaurant in Helens Bay was in partnership with my cousin, who was the chief surgeon for P&O. Doctor on the Love Boat, as they called him. So we went in a partnership together. We worked hard. We stayed in Helens Bay for about 4 years. I worked hard to get Star Michelin out there. Paul Rankin already had one before me in Roscoe. Yeah. Robbie Miller had one before me in Shanks as well. So I was not the first. He got the year before me.
Yours is better.
And I was quite. I wasn't angry about that, but when he got it the year before me, it was quite a shock, and I never left the building after he got the star for a whole year. I washed in it, slept in it, cooked in it with me and my staff, and then we got a star a year later. The star was a propeller. You know, whenever I left the Dorchester, Musselman said it's not about getting a Michelin star, it's what you do with it. And so I decided then, when we got the star, what to do with it, so I moved to Belfast. And we we took a lease on in where we are now. And from that we went next door. There was a clothes shop there was Equinox there, and we expanded greatly, quickly, and we just begged, borrowed and stole. You know, we borrowed money from the bank, lots of money from the bank. It was a bit easier then. We had a few pound ourselves, and we sort of never looked back. But you know, the few hurdles along the way. My son is actually Asian. Yeah. From Thailand, a great boy. He's done superb. We want to open a restaurant after his name. His Thai name was Chukdi, which is good luck in Thai. In the House of Deane in Irish. And we opened an Asian restaurant, and we were still waiting for people to come in. It just didn't work. It was in Bedford Street. It was a complete flop.
Which is weird, because there's a big, love of Asian culture.
But then there wasn't. Then it wasn't so big. No, then there wasn't really. So the bank said to me one day, "You got to stop spending our money, Mr. Deane. What are you going to do?" And it was a Friday the 7th of December, I think. I went in and I closed it, painted it, put canopies on, and called it Deane's Deli.
Yourself? Down in Grafton?
Well, more or less, with a couple of people helping me. We opened Deane's Deli, and that was absolutely fantastic. Never stopped. 20-year success. 20-year success, Deane's Deli. Then bounced it on. Everybody loved the deli. We bounced it on to Deane's of Queens. And then Deane Nakano. And then just where we are now, we opened Love Fish, we opened Epic, and I'd not say we expanded too quickly. It was over a sort of 20-year period, and I always kept the ball at the foot, and it would be very successful. And then we had the wonderful nightmare of COVID. COVID changed Northern Ireland immensely,
and hospitality especially.
Destroyed it. Hats off to Stephen Nolan for letting me on the radio nearly every day. Very hard to go on the radio and fight with death. And fight with politicians and try to, we sort of took the blame as if COVID was our fault, that we were to blame in some way for COVID. I think that it was handled very badly. Yep. I think everything around it was handled very badly. We're still fighting business interruption insurance. We're still fighting everything. We were very, very lucky to stay afloat. Just good management. Furlough helped, but it changed people's mindsets about working.
It did, and there's so many restaurants and amazing chefs and business leaders who've had to close, unfortunately, both in Northern Ireland and across the United Kingdom.
Yeah, and then no longer being allowed to bring staff in from Europe, which brings a great lot of expertise in hospitality from Europe.
Michael, can you talk about your achievements and the successes? Obviously, we're now in this, as we talked about, weird world from COVID, restrictions, and almost trying to nullify the hospitality industry. But you've been able to pull out, centre, and almost revision Deane's for the future, which is admirable and inspiring to me, and I hope to many in the hospitality industry.
Well, I see the achievements as the building blocks, and you can't build a business in the sand. So the building blocks are hopefully I've put in over the years, and it's an ever-changing world to try to stay ahead of it. People's pockets are different. Disposable income's different. Price of a taxi's doubled. Yeah. People's whole time frame and schedules change. So, since COVID and Brexit, I've had to try to re-identify Deane's and change the business model. I've got to have access to other people's pockets. I've tried to let's try to see what the younger people want. How do we keep the brand of Deanes on the main street, on the high street, which is very, very difficult. So I'm reforming Deanes at the moment. We've had to close the Vin Cafe, we had to close the deli, we've closed Dean Decano, we've closed the Michelin star restaurant in Epic. I'm trying to rebrand and re-push the mothership in a slightly different direction. I've always been a risk taker. It is another risk. But as long as I've got one flight out and one flight in, I'll be all right. I mean, I don't worry myself to sleep about it anymore. In fact, I never did. I think I'm quite good at fighting the storm. And at the end of the day, I'm a reasonable cook. I'm a reasonable businessman. I understand this business very well. And there's a few of us in the city have kept it all together. And let's try to make hospitality wonderful again, because in a lot of people's eyes, it's no longer wonderful. During COVID, hospitality became the enemy. Passports became the enemy. There's a lot of people up on the hill had no idea what we were doing, where we were going. And we were like rabbits with no headlights. It was absolutely terrible. And we'll come again. We certainly will.
I think you're absolutely right. And you have weathered the storm of a few decades and champion, as you said, going from England, from London, and all the successful restaurants working there, to creating this here amazing environment of cooking and chef and food. But to me, it's from reading about you as well and seeing in the press and stuff, it's about people.
Absolutely.
Both internal and external as well. The fact that you're nurturing people and giving gastronomy to Belfast and to Northern Ireland, which I think is an amazing achievement that you have succeeded in.
Well, I mean, I have to be there with the people, whether it's a staff or whether it's a customers. There's no point in me having my name on the door if I'm not going to be there. Customers aren't always happy, staff aren't always happy, I'm not always happy. But that's cooking. And to me, if you can cook a little bit, you'll go a long way in life. If you can open a bottle of wine, you'll go a long way in life. I give people enjoyment. We let I'm not saying we let anybody in the restaurant, but we welcome people from all walks of life.
You're taking an environment to let people escape, which I think is amazing. So in regard to what drives you as a person, from the people, as we said, inside the restaurant, outside, your good lady wife, Kate, who's been a rock to you, and your son as well, that you've had that amazing relationship with. What drives you for your successes personally and for business?
Well, I suppose the first thing, family of course is everything. We have a nice home in Belfast. We try to drive reasonable cars. We try to have nice things in life. We've got a nice home in Portugal. What drives me? It's probably because the bank make the windows that small they can't get back out. That's what probably drives me. And I just keep going. I love to see what other people are doing. Not that I have any jealousy, but I love to see what people are doing. And if something new or something different, I just say, I like to have people pats in the back and say, I enjoyed that, I like that. It's great. We've sort of seen other communities come into Belfast again. I mean, we've got, we need more international culture, we need more Asian culture, we need more Greek restaurants, we need Lebanese restaurants, and we haven't got that. So I would like to see a change in the landscape, because a lot of the menus in Belfast tend to be the same, they tend to read the same, they seem to use the same produce. We go from one thing to the other and it's very much samey, including ourselves, but I like to think we were team leaders in that. And you can't reinvent the wheel, but I'd like to see maybe some different cultures and different place to go. You could maybe go out like at 2 o'clock in the morning to get a roast duck or something. It doesn't happen.
No, see, my wife being Malaysian, we go out and have nasi lemak at 2 a.m. with a cup of tea. Not alcohol, it's tea because of the culture. I love that. Or you go out and you said you've got from the roast duck to salted egg squid and all the fact of all the different vegetables and stuff. It is amazing, but we don't have that here.
Well, I always say I think this is because we have had a big religious culture. Religious government on both sides. I fought hard and long to change the licensing laws along with hospitality, Ulster, etc. I mean, Good Friday, you're not allowed to get a drink. You were less closed down. I remember a government minister saying to me one day, can you not do without a drink for one day? I says, it's a whole side effect, a knock-on effect, that Belfast loses something like £60 million in a week because of Good Friday, because everybody leaves. You can even get a drink in Dublin on Good Friday, but then during COVID, that changed.
Yes.
It was taken away, the licensing laws were changed. And now every day is like Good Friday. It's hard to get anybody out on a Friday. The business community are saying that their work ethic is twat. I says, what's twat?
Yeah.
It says we work Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. We take Friday off, Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, sorry,
So
work from home.
work from home
Yeah,
is the
that's
biggest nightmare Belfast has ever seen. Work from home has absolutely brought the city to almost to its knees. And people need to get back into the offices. How do sandwich bars work? How are the coffee shops going to work? How are the restaurants going to work? How are the hotels going to
The
work?
whole circle, what everybody feeds each other, and it's also about people, and it's actually meeting up, and it's what white survives, and I think that's again the hospitality trade has allowed businesses to become opportunistic because they've given them environments to be at. Do you travel back to Bangkok, to Thailand much yourself?
I did a pop-up restaurant about 4 years ago. I took over the restaurant in the St. Regis in Bangkok, and I cooked an Irish menu for 6 nights at about, I think, a couple of £100 a head, with Russians there, with Germans there, with Czechs there, with everything. And we popped up in the restaurant for 6 full dinners. We had one English-speaking chef who was Australian, myself and a brigade of 25 Thai chefs. So you try to tell a Thai chef how to make potato bread. How do you make bread out of a potato? It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
Well, maybe we could always have a chat about something in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, and Penlan Jaya, and there may be something there you and me might do together down the line.
Absolutely.
Because I love the food, and I love
the people. I don't know why people go to America. I don't know why people travel that way across the Atlantic, where I'm Asia all the time. Vietnam, Cambodia. I haven't been to Japan.
I haven't been either. I haven't been there. But Cambodia and Vietnam, I adore.
It's just that whole country.
As I do with all my guests, we do a bit quick fire. We're going to do the hard and daft questions as well. So who would you say is your 3 inspirational leaders or heroes within the industry, or not even industry, you think?
Well, my father was probably the biggest. He died last year, 96.
Sorry.
Mosman in the Dorchester, definitely. Michael White.
Oh, amazing. Oh, yeah, so top notch. And I suppose that leads in, we were saying about the industry ones there. Can you give us 3 steps to success?
Luck, money, bullshit, really. And just get on with it, hard work.
Grafting. I think that's something that us from Northern Ireland.
Belief, confidence.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that in the slightest. And what do you say, and this is difficult for you probably, but 3 foods that would be your favourite?
I love steak and chips. I love oysters.
What sauce though?
Well, like a good béarnaise sauce is the best if it's made properly. I love oysters, natural oysters. I love oysters. I love lobster. I love shellfish. I like simple done well. I don't like any more than 3 things on the plate anyway, and just good local produce.
Amazing. And in regard to getting away, what would be 3 ways that you unwind? But I know you work more than even I do. But what would you say you take maybe 3 ways you try to unwind by?
I like the exercise. I like the walk. I like to think. Yeah, I go to. I don't travel very much now, but yeah, I like to get away and see what other people are doing. But I still like to come home to see what my people are doing.
And that's it. And we are, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest people in the world. But there you go. And 3 holiday destinations that you would either have been, would like to go, or constantly go at the minute, where you maybe go with the family, your good lady wife, son, or friends? Yeah,
I've travelled quite a bit over the years. I did a pop-up in St. Regis in Bangkok a few years ago. I did a pop-up in a school in Dubai with my kids. But I have a property in the Algarve, and that's the only place I go to now. I go to the international airport, 2 hours there, I have a black taxi, I'm on my terrace, 20 minutes after that, and I'm quite a boring character now when it comes to travel. That's where I go.
Definitely
now.
not
That's
boring.
all. It's the only place I go.
No, get your feet into the sand and be able to chill down with a nice glass or something.
Vino Verde.
There you go then.
Yeah.
And I suppose now it's how many hours do you work? And in hospitality, you live and breathe the thing, but
probably as many as it takes. The taxman says you're only allowed to work 40 hours. So I suppose that's all I work, and the rest I just think the rest of the time. I work for as long as it takes. Sometimes I'm in here for 18, 20 hours, other days I'm in here for 2. It's hard to know. I just have to just judge it.
Michael, thanks for coming on my podcast today. It's been an amazing journey around, our city. It's one that you completely enveloped yourself in, and which I think is an amazing and also fabulous that you've been able to create this massive culinary journey for the people of Northern Ireland and the visitors through. But to me, I'm excited about now the next journey of Deanes and what you're going to create, and I can't wait to hear the announcement. So thank you.
It'll be worth watching.
Thank
Thank you.
you.